The Green Bay Packers receive great news after their bye week ahead of their Week 11 matchup where they head to Chicago to take on the Bears. This great news is in regards to some injury updates for the Green Bay Packers. We saw how banged up they were in Week 9 to go play the Detroit Lions. They were without Jaire Alexander, Evan Williams, and Josh Myers on offense. And seemingly that bye week came at the perfect time for the Packers to try to get a little bit more healthy. Their injury report was a lengthy one heading into Week 9. And now it seems the Packers are getting healthy again. Every player on the 53 is practicing today coming off the bye. That includes Jaire Alexander, Evan Williams, and Josh Myers, who all missed Week 9 with injuries. Tucker Kraft is out of the red non-contact jersey. And also, Marshawn Lloyd is practicing for the first time since Week 2. I know a lot of us have been wondering about Marshawn Lloyd. When will he return after suffering that ankle injury in the Colts game in Week 2, which then placed him on IR? Then held him out a total of 7 games, a lot longer than we first expected when Marshawn Lloyd was placed on IR. But the Packers running back room is already loaded right now. We have Josh Jacobs at the helm, obviously Chris Brooks, Emmanuel Wilson, two guys that have been kind of splitting carries. It's been more of a Chris Brooks snap share at this point in the season. In weeks 8 and 9, Chris Brooks outsnapped Emmanuel Wilson as running back number 2. So now the question is, with Marshawn Lloyd returning to the roster, now what is the snap share going to look like? Are they still going to give Emmanuel Wilson, Chris Brooks their normal snap share? Are they going to try to sprinkle in Marshawn Lloyd some? Or is Marshawn Lloyd going to basically remain the 4th running back in case another injury happens? Personally, I want to see Marshawn Lloyd in this offense, but I don't want to obviously take away carries from Josh Jacobs. He's been playing super well. Then, of course, the other injury updates are massive for the Green Bay Packers. Heading into that Detroit game without Jaire Alexander and Evan Williams was a huge blow to this Packers defense. Although the Lions didn't have to pass the ball much, the Packers without Jaire and Evan Williams, two of their better defenders, really shakes up their defense a lot, really shakes up their personnel a lot, and it would have been a different game if both of those players were there. So it's really nice to see them finally get healthy. Jaire has been riddled with injuries the past 2 seasons, I believe missing 16 out of 32 games, so really only a 50% at that point, and he's definitely had a lot of injuries. So hopefully this is him finally getting healthy for the second half of the season. Evan Williams had that hamstring injury. I thought he would maybe play against Detroit, but they held him out a week and then into the bye. Of course, that's the right thing to do, to be precautious with a hamstring injury. Evan Williams has been massive for this defense. Him and Xavier McKinney have been great back at safety for the Green Bay Packers. They're two of the highest graded safeties via PFF, and having him on the field, I feel like completely changes this defense. It allows them to move Javon Bullard down into the nickel, down near the line of scrimmage on early downs, maybe kick Keyshawn Nixon to the outside, where I believe he plays better than he does in the slot. But more importantly, it just allows them to kind of play to their strengths, play to the personnel that they like. Then Josh Myers, I think before the Lions game, a lot of people weren't as worried about this injury. You know, Josh Myers was going to be out for this game. A lot of people weren't worried. They almost thought, hey, this offensive line may look better without Josh Myers. But that wasn't the case because we had multiple fumbled snaps, multiple snap exchange issues with Elton Jenkins and Jordan Love. And given it was a very rainy game and Jordan Love was also injured in that game, that could have played a toll into that, of course. But at the end of the day, it didn't look good. And Josh Myers, the one thing that he does really well is get the snap back there perfectly. He's also a nice pass protector, not the best in the run game, but Josh Myers was definitely missed there in Week 9 versus Detroit. So the Packers getting massive injury news. This is great for the team heading into Week 11 against the now imploding Chicago Bears, who just fired Shane Waldron at the beginning of this week. I'm very interested to see how this game goes. I'm very confident in the Green Bay Packers in this game. I think this could be a momentum-building style type of game. The Bears let up 9 sacks last week against the Patriots, who don't get many sacks. So if there was ever a game for the Packers pass rush to really start to build momentum and get after the quarterback just after trading Preston Smith, this is that game right here. Not to mention, it's another week for Jordan Love to rest. That bye week, obviously, Jordan Love had the MCL injury early in the year, and then, of course, most recently, the calf injury that seemingly popped back up in that Detroit game. So a bye week here was massive for him as well, and hopefully that calf is a non-issue now. Overall, just great news for the Packers here in Week 11. They have practice tomorrow and Friday. Friday will be the injury report with all the designations, so be on the lookout for that video coming from this channel. Also, if you're a new viewer, I'd highly suggest going down, clicking subscribe to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers. I appreciate you guys coming by. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.